We are now joined by Bharat Sharma from VEVE. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well, yeah. James, how are you doing?
Very well. We're back in San Francisco. It's been the first time since about 2018 or so. So we've had a little pause. It's great to be back. And this bank building thing we're in is crazy.
I know, and it looks amazing, by the way. It's crowded, people are amazing, and the right community right here.
We're delighted that people have turned up. There's lots of other options around GDC, so we're humbled to be chosen. But for folks who aren't familiar with VEVE and what you guys do, tell us all about it.
All right. So, introducing myself, my name is Bharat. I'm one of the co-founders at VEVE, been with the company since the time it was started. We basically at VEVE help game developers, gaming studios, large and small, get access to new users beyond the big tech platforms, such as Google and Facebook. So what that means is we are helping hardware manufacturers, such as your Samsungs, your Oppo, your Vivo, your Xiaomi, your Microsoft. We are helping them monetize their software by kind of showing up ads inside their pre-bundled applications. And we are driving new users for these game developers at scale beyond big tech. So basically, we are helping gaming studios get access to users, incremental users beyond traditional big tech platforms.
Which is interesting because the way that UI works these days is on a number of different levels, whether it's kind of advertising sort of banners or whether it's video, but it's getting more and more expensive, especially on iOS. We noticed that CPIs on Android for a video ad is 80 cents, whereas the same thing on Apple is over $5, which is a stark difference and seems to mean that you need to spend an awful lot of money on Apple to make a game successful or make an app, connect and reach an audience. You're saying there are alternative options.
There are alternative options because that's what we keep looking for, right? Incrementality, right? So the thing is, Google and Apple are crowded spaces, and there's a lot of education that's required for gaming companies to kind of think beyond. And VEVE does exactly that. We basically educate, we help them promote their games beyond Google and Facebook. So which can actually help them drive down their costs and help them achieve their media objectives.
Why do you think people haven't jumped on this as much? I mean, traditionally, especially in the West, we've got this very two-lane strategy. It's just Android, and it's just sort of iOS and the Apple Store. Whereas if you go out to the MENA region, people use a lot more options, number of different marketplaces. And then you've got the kind of Web3 stores that people are looking at as well as another option. Do you think there's a reason people haven't tapped into what you're doing as much?
See, firstly, let's see where we are, right? It's 2023. The world is becoming smarter every day. As I say, right, the future is smart, the future is OEMs. That's hardware is the new software. What that means is, in 2015 and 16, there were a lot of these hardware companies which were not smart. They were producing hardware, but they were selling it as hardware. For example, their TVs were not smart. The phones were not smart, your watches were not smart. Today, everything is getting smarter. So what's happening is these hardware companies are actually becoming software companies now. And today, there's lack of information around this vertical, but this vertical is software within the hardware companies is growing at a CAGR of about 26%. And you would see that a large proportion of their revenue in the next 5 to 6 years is going to come from monetizing their softwares across every hardware that they're selling. And we're actually here, we're innovating in that space. We are driving outcomes efficiently in that space. And it's just about brands kind of knowing that, testing it out, and kind of learning from those experiences and kind of finding more avenues to promote themselves.
What's the most common question that you get asked by people approaching you saying, we're interested in, trying this angle that you guys are offering. So what do we do? What's the most common question you get asked?
The common question I get is, I didn't even know this existed. So, that's where the industry stands today. Everyone does Google and Facebook, but how do we get beyond that is the big question. And we are the alternate solution, but it's all about educating these brands about, there are ways of reaching these consumers beyond the big tech platforms. And I think that's the main question. I think it's education, right? Also, if a brand finds out, fine, this is the way to kind of go about it, then, they require technical expertise and, they need support. They need help from companies to kind of help them achieve that scale. And we are currently achieving exactly that objective for gaming developers or any kind of brands out there.
We've been talking to people over the past year or so about the recent uptick in what we call generative AI as opposed to standard AI. There's been machine learning for years and years and years, but the word we keep hearing from everybody, whether it's developers of games or software or whatever it might be, is kind of inevitable. It's going to be a part of the workflow inevitably.
Absolutely.
Do you feel that's the...
Absolutely agree. Yeah. We as humans, the thing is, data processing is a complex task, right? And we as humans are pretty certain that we can't process that volumes of data at scale that a machine can. And we're good at taking decisions. And that's what AI is going to help us do. Kind of approve or reject. And what's going to happen in the future is the way I foresee it. Today, to kind of get access to a user, we are, with the help of our human capacity, we can manage maybe 2 or 3 platforms at scale. But with AI, we will be able to manage about maybe 100 platforms at scale. And which will help us drive efficiency in every form. Like it will drive efficiency in our purchases, it will drive efficiency in media acquisition, it will help us, it make our life easier, I would suggest. So, I mean, it's inevitable.
What's the number one thing you'd recommend a software manufacturer or the hardware folks do to maximize their potential with, UA, user acquisition? What's the one thing you see people that are not doing it and they should be?
All right, so one thing that brands are not doing, game developers are not doing, is exploring app stores beyond the Play Store.
Okay.
So, like for example, when anyone produces a game, or could be any brand or any service, their first focus is, okay, I got to register myself on Play Store. I got to register myself on Apple App Store. But there are more than 50 plus app stores out there where you can get access to consumers, real consumers, in a much efficient way. So, game developers are not thinking that direction, I believe. I think they're not looking at the scale that they could achieve by kind of having their games kind of spread across every app store out there. So I think that's the missing piece there. And I'm sure game developers will find scale once they kind of start testing those waters out.
What about trends for the rest of the year? We're near the beginning of 2024. What are your plans for the rest of the year and moving into the next one? Is it just expanding, connecting with more people? Do you have initiatives you're rolling out? What's the plan?
See, this industry is new. We are helping hardware manufacturers generate revenue through the R3 part of the software. And currently it's small. I would say it would be about 1 to 5% of the overall revenue. But in the coming years, as I said, the future is smart, the future is OEM, the future is hardware. So for us, we're going to be building a lot of technology sitting on top of these hardware manufacturers and basically help game studios drive more efficient outcomes.
Which is pretty much what everyone is looking for.
And yeah, we're all striving towards that. And obviously AI and ML subjects we're going to keep working on. It's a never-ending build. It's not like we're going to start building on it today and going to stop tomorrow. It's always going to get better and better. So we're constantly working on making life easier for our partners.
Good to hear. The landscape never stops shifting, and neither can we. So, thank you ever so much for talking to you today, Bharat. I look forward to seeing what happens in the future with
James. Thank you so much, and thank you for having us here.
Pleasure.